Oh, wow.
Hello.
Ano nangyari?
Hi.
Ba't ako lang
Teka lang.
Wait.
Hey.
Hey! Gusto mo yan? Ayan. Medyo nag-adjust ako.
Ay, may ring light na siya. Yes.
Yes!
Unfair.
Oh my God.
Ito na yung couch. Hindi ko
Yes.
nakikita yung
I
couch,
love it.
Medyo warm. Yeah.
I
gotta
love
change.
it. Better
Better
lighting.
Thank
Better
you,
lighting. I like it.
Yes.
We're back.
This is my Christmas gift to myself. Wow, may mga ganun na tayo.
Oh, pero maganda. Mikey maganda. Seryoso. I like it.
Adulting things tayo. Yes.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Kamusta
hey,
kayo,
hey.
guys? So, kumusta naman tayo after that particular episode? Oh my God.
I just remembered na sasabi niya na Alora na this was their weirdest episode ever. The 4th and the 5th.
I agree. Which makes
Kasi
me wonder, ano
nabi
pa yung medyo pasabog in the coming episode, diba?
Mm-hmm.
So yun. So for those of you who are watching, just in case this is a replay already, hello, we're Bruja B Squad, and my name is Mikey. This is Lance. Ayun, tama na yung pag-point ko. And then down there is Vito. And there are 7 of us, but right now there are 3 in this panel. And of course, if it's your first time joining us, we talk about all things BL and all things related to the LGBTQIA+ community. And if you are joining us again, thank you for being here. And of course, we would love to hear your comments. Go ahead and put it in the chat, or if it's a replay, go ahead and put it in the comments. And we'd love to hear from you, gain your perspectives and all of that. So of course, tonight we're talking about the episode that just premiered earlier, Cheetah Series episode 4. Ayan.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think that we did say this before. I mean, the last session we had, that this will. I mean, we're supposed to have like a break or a rest like this week, Christmas, but
Yeah.
we opted to have this session for Cheat the Series episode 4. So yon. And I think the reason that we're also going live tonight is we're giving out another free ticket or free pass to the Boy Foretold by the Stars is coming Friday, December 25. So after we discuss about the episode Cheat the Series episode 4, we're gonna be giving away. So may mechanics na si Lance kung paano gagawin, no? Kung sino pipili natin. Yep.
Yes.
And also, we would be inviting everybody to join yung pag-giveaway naman natin as a year-ender for BBS. So we'll be sharing with you the links in the chat so you can participate in that. And we'll be giving out vouchers, food delivery vouchers, hotel discount vouchers, and top-up vouchers. Is it right? Tama ba?
Yes,
Yep.
I think so.
Yes. Yon.
So go ahead and check out our socials. All the details are there if you want to go ahead and join. Or you can share it with your friends just in case they might be interested. Yun. Let's spread the love this Christmas. Yun.
Yes.
Oh my God. Talaga. Let me gather my thoughts, guys. Sige, kayo muna.
Take time.
Yes.
So I'll start off. Siguro I will not make it too really intricate or complicated siguro. Parang I like the beats this time of this particular episode.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Most common usual comment natin is bitin or parang there's kind of something like off about the episode, but this I think I felt like it was paced well enough for me, at least sa akin, no. Parang hindi na ako masyadong nabitin, hindi na ako I think this is the right way to really have an episode. Right beat for one episode. It's around 29 minutes, 30 minutes or so, or less yata, no? Parang ganun. Parang enough na yung pace sa akin, enough na yung beats sa akin, and enough na yung hook sa akin for me. Parang it wasn't really too much, it wasn't enough, it was sufficient for me. In terms of storytelling, also, I think we're getting a clear picture of what's really happening now. So I think it's a good thing. In terms of acting, I'm gonna give it props to Alora pa rin, consistently. She's been delivering in the series. I like how she really delivered the character and really, put out the character in this particular episode. Ano lang, may mga concerns ako a bit siguro kay Daryl. I felt a bit awkward for him. Habang umaarte, parang di ko alam. It kind of felt rehearsed and ayun nga, sinasabi natin anticipatory, parang I will not say pretentious, pero na-deliver naman kasi gano'n yung character niya eh, frail, alam mo yun, vulnerable, diba? So parang I see that. Pero may mga parts lang talaga na medyo rehearsed yung mga batuhan ng linya na parang hindi na believable for me, right? As for VR though, the previous episode kasi I was kind of unsure of what he presented, but here I sort of believed in his character now. So yun lang gusto kong sabihin. I like this episode though. Kumbaga ito yung well, for the past 3-4 episodes, parang I think for me ito yung pinaka-solid I think. Kasi no, parang maganda na yung may kwento na. Alam mo yun, parang I'm seeing like a story. I also like the cinematography better this time. It's clearer, mas crisp na siya, mas malinaw na, and maayos na yung mga kuha here and there. It's deliberate. They're all deliberate. May mga ilang shots lang na alam mo yun, parang I'm a little concerned, pero I mean super minor na yan. Parang I'm not really a critic to really say na ang pangit, diba? Pero overall, looking at it story-wise, acting, ayun, cinematography and shots, parang okay siya. Solid siya na episode. So I guess parang from the previous episodes, they were able to work on towards this particular episode. So lumabas naman siya. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yun. I was just curious, ano ba yung mga shots na masasabi mo a bit can be improved pa?
Can be improved. Yung mga shaky shots, I guess. Kunwari parang like si Alora, parang when she was like doing the dasal ganyan and everything, and when she I don't know, this glass or vial, may potion na siya na all. Tapos parang bigla siya napahigang ganyan. Na parang naging shaky siya ng konti.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if that was the right shot. Ako to ha, I'm not sure. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not also saying it's good. I was just uncertain if it was the right shot for, I don't know, I didn't quite feel it eh. Parang gano'n. Yan. So yun lang. Parang hindi na siya masyadong madilim eh. Parang ano siya, well lit na siya at for me ha. Kasi sa previous episodes parang ano ba to? Parang medyo grainy, na medyo alam mo yun, hindi ko sure kung malinaw ba or masyadong madilim. Pero here parang I think naayos na nila yung editing, I guess. Yes.
Yeah. I love the rain shot though, yung payong shot ni Sister.
True.
Ako doon.
Same.
That's one of the memorable shots I saw. Parang, ooh.
Drive
nice.
safe, Diana.
Yes, drive safe.
Ang daming twist.
Yes, ang daming twist. Ang daming pasabog na to. And let's go back to what VR said nung last time.
Okay.
Ang sabi niya noon, do not trust a single tongue. The truth will eventually come. I'll let myself drown in your lies for now. Remember, this book can give you truths, but this can also make you the best of fools.
Yeah.
And we saw that whole poetry, flash poetry niya play into the series.
Right.
And it goes across all the characters in the story too. From the sister, the mother, lahat talaga sila. Kaya ang galing. And I like yung sinabi niya naman, yung sinabi ni sister, yung sabi ni mother pala na we may be from the different sides, but we're the same.
Right. Correct.
Kaya ayun. I mean, you mentioned everything naman siguro when it comes to technicalities. Siguro I appreciate yung there's a story build within the sister, the mother. So it's a well-written story now, or I could see it more now coming in.
Right.
Although for me, I needed a stronger hook pa. Kasi I mean, this is the 4th episode, and how many episodes do they have left? 2. So maybe the 5th will be the climax. Pero siguro I'm just waiting for a higher escalation, yung ang bilis ng akyat. For me, it's still rather slow. For me, just for me personally. I mean, I was expecting this to be a bigger bomb as the 3rd episode, pero it just went up two flights. Pero siguro I'm lacking something else. Maybe
it could have been more intense, sana, no?
Maybe kasi I think music comes into play with that. The musicality of the score could be a big impact, especially with this.
Right.
Like I would have preferred siguro when the sister was doing the lashing. I prefer a different melody, maybe. or make that loud lashing sound. As in, yun lang ang narinig mo. Parang before you get into that scene, utter silence, then you could just hear the lashing as in sobrang lakas.
Yeah.
Nakakabingi.
Right.
As if you're in a sister's head, na yun lang narinig mo. So, ganun. I mean, those little nuances in terms of music,
Could have
siguro
made a
yun ang nahanap ko.
Yeah.
And yeah, I appreciate yung acting ni VR dito. Finally, VR. More lights, more scenes. Para sa akin, you shown dito sa episode na to. Especially that car scene, yung he shifted his look, his face, from yung seryosong kala mo iiyak, biglang yung the sinister look. So, VR, congratulations. And the way he said, I love you, I love you, I love you, nang paulit-ulit, in a very sinister, addicting, jokerish way, I think you achieved that. So, good job, VR.
Yes. Wait, adding to what Lance said, no? I don't ako lang to ha. Pero I prefer that he speaks in Tagalog.
Yes, me too. Okay. Lalo kapag Tagalog vernacular, he speaks that. I prefer him na ganun.
Yes. Uy, wait lang. Congratulate ulit natin si Ma'am Yao. Ma'am
Congratulations!
Yay!
Dahil siya nala last time, kumuha ko ng inspiration for her for this episode's for Told by the Stars.
Yes. True. Joy is also here. Hi, Joy.
Ay, yun talaga kumuha the Joy, no? Yeah, you can hate Jay but not VR. Okay na yun.
Well, you can't really. Well, for me, kasi parang you can't really hate all of them because I think they all have different sides to themselves, right? Yeah, and I think that's the main point of the series naman. Parang there's duality in everyone. Like, we can experience agony, we can experience ecstasy, we can be dark, we can be light, we can be good, we can be bad, etc. I think it all depends on the circumstances and the choices that people make. I think it was the premise naman in the beginning of the show that magic is just there, diba? And whether you use it for one way or another is entirely up to you. But you just have to be ready with the consequences, diba? So there were a couple of things that I guess were impactful for me in this particular episode. The first one was the revelation, finally, of the threesome scene. So it appears that it wasn't a threesome. It now appears that it really was Jennifer and
Jennifer.
V, and it was Jennifer implanting sige na, Migo. No, I'm gonna use their real names talaga. Migo's sort of like face
imagery,
or whatever. Imagery, right? I don't know how that happened. Probably it was because of the magic. Maybe she didn't really do it well, or she didn't really do it properly. That's why she was asking her mom, is there any way that the spell could have backfired? Because I think she intended it one way and then something happened. Because, like what Mother said, it's the people around them that can influence how we would probably react to something or would take something. So probably in Jennifer's mind, it was just the two of them. But in V's mind, it was him and Dawn. And then the imagery got interspersed there somewhere.
Yeah.
So now we know that her virginity was taken. And for her, the reality was it was just the two of them. But for V, it was totally something else. There you go. And the second bomb that was dropped on us, and which sister admitted to, was that she really was the mother of V. So she went on this pilgrimage, and then when she came back a year later, she had the child with her. And she even said, if this gets out, or if you tell other people this, so she basically admitted that it was true. And we don't know how Mother could have known that, but she knows what she knows. So there you go. So it's it doesn't, however, explain why she's very hostile towards V. Because if that's her child, why doesn't she shower him with love? Instead, we get hostility from her. We get antagonism, right? So either her mind went a particular way, meaning she could be
PMS.
seen as sort of like, or she could be seeing the as sort of like the result of her sin, and
could be that
this is her sin manifested, and therefore she sees him as a negative versus as a positive. The product of love. So we're gonna see how that goes, but it's just very weird for me how she could turn out that way towards her own child, diba? I mean, what she could have done. I mean, one way that she could have gone was she could have let somebody else take care of the kid, maybe, and the kid could have been put up for adoption. He could have gone to a foster home, but no, she decided to keep the child for herself. But in the same way, she decided to treat the child as negatively as she possibly could. So I don't know where her mind went. Pero I guess one of the ways that could be described was V saying she lost her marbles or she's gone crazy, she lost it. So probably yun nga eh. Parang because she had a child, there was that sort of like religious, I don't know, dilemma and worldly dilemma. So parang baka nabuang siya because of that. Because she wanted to keep her vow to the church, but then she couldn't really give up her child. So I guess there's that sort of like struggle within her still. She hasn't fully resolved that, and it's manifesting in all these weird and crazy sorts of ways. So there. In terms of the acting, I agree with Nico and you guys. V can still improve. I would have to say that in terms of that, especially that particular scene wherein Jennifer admitted to him that something happened between them, and I was expecting more anger, more disappointment, more
Yeah.
hurt from V.
Likewise.
And in the same way, I was expecting a little bit more from Jennifer as well. Like, the betrayal of that scene, I was hoping that there would be more emotion as well. So I don't know if that was on the part of the director or if it was cut or maybe the internalization part of it, but I was expecting a little bit more in that particular scene. Now, all the other scenes, Jennifer is pretty much what we would expect. But I think in one particular scene, expected a little bit more as well in terms of the the attack on sister. Like, putang ina mo, di ba? Para let go of him or something like that. I forgot what the exact line was. But I guess I also wanted a little bit more from there. And then the way that sister sort of like hurt herself as well, it seemed a little bit rehearsed as well for me. So hopefully that was executed a little bit more, I guess, fairly. Yeah. So we still see a little bit of magic here and Latin, and again, the mother's wisdom in terms of how to use the magic, diba? But I think that she could have been more of a mother as well because Jennifer used a spell which I believe will make her pregnant. So I don't know if it was the best thing for her to go that route because having a child doesn't necessarily mean that you will get the love of the dad. Diba? Or it doesn't necessarily mean that the person or the guy will respond in the way that you want them to respond. So you're bringing another person to this world. You're bringing another life into it, which doesn't necessarily fix the problem.
Right.
And I don't know where Jennifer is going because she clearly heard V telling sister that he was in love with Dong, and then he also said it to her on the rooftop that he was in love with Dong, but for some reason that did not register with her. So, girl, what are you doing? I mean, what is going through your head? I mean, I would understand if she's in some form of denial, but she clearly heard it. So we'll see what happens there. But girl, I'm so confused. Why? I mean, she could have easily acknowledged it, like said, okay, sinasabi mo lang yan, but no, I will make you love me. I think that could have been a better route instead of saying, no, he loves me. He doesn't love you. He doesn't love Dom. I mean, it could have been that way versus the other. But I guess that's how it was written, and we'll see how it goes from here on out.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of stuff happening, and I'm even confused by the kissing scene. I mean, why would mother kiss sister like that, and why would sister kiss her back? There was no indication that there was a lesbian streak in sister. So I don't know where that came from and why it went
Y-
that way, but here we go.
Yeah, I
So
got
that's
the
a lot.
scene. I find that I understood when the mother said, "Well, let's add another sin to you."
Mhm.
So it was like she should be remained untouched, parang ganun. And I think that was a scene of lust
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but why would it have to be a female?
because she was the only one there, and to do it with another gender is would be double dead, diba? Remember, it's going back to how the sister reacted to V's saying
Mhm.
that he fell in love with Dong. So it's a parallelism of that with this, with the sister,
Yeah.
the
But
mother
my
kissing her
mind is
sister.
For,
going towards because she got pregnant. So
uh,
was she sort of like okay, so probably she is perhaps lesbian, but she got pregnant because she got drunk during
right,
the
right,
match.
right. For
So that could be
I have
possible. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
have like thoughts or like rather questions. I'm more curious about kasi parang ang intense naman ng ano encounter ng mother and then ng sister. I mean the nun,
Mm.
right? So parang why the intensity of the encounter? I mean there must be like a backstory, and I'm more interested about their history. Eh. There could be like a history between them, and it's probably something that they'll be presenting in the next episodes. I guess. I hope may
Yeah.
Mm.
ganong backstory. Kasi parang why the intensity? But parang biglang may pagka-bitchesa na
Yep.
agad yung nanay na parang, I know, ganyan. Di ba? Nawala ka,
Mm.
nag-pilgrimage ka, and then you're back with the child in your arms. Keme, ganyan. And
Mhm.
then, di ba, parang, I felt like, ako looking at it, like the encounter showed me like denial, showed me like, parang, like both of them like sort of forgot like some sort of history in the past. And then parang they're just facing each other now in present time. I don't know. Parang I'm actually hoping that there will be a backstory in the next episodes. Baka may kwento pa talaga sila. Yon. Those are
Yeah,
just my
yeah.
thoughts. Yep.
So now, because we sort of like that touched on that. So when sister told the anak ka ng demonyo, immoral, kadiri kayo, hayop, animal.
Yeah.
So was she also sort of like self-loathing?
Yeah. Could be.
So
Could
it's
be.
possible that she alam mo yun, parang if you hate
Exactly.
yourself because you don't maybe okay, so let's say that she is a lesbian, but she
Yeah.
doesn't want to acknowledge it, she doesn't want to accept it.
Right.
So for her to see that in her child as well, that he
Yeah.
is gay or loving the
Yeah.
same gender, so that
Right.
might explain the amount of
Right.
self-loathing that
Could
she
be.
manifested or
Diba?
demonstrated.
'Di ba?
Mm-hmm.
No, could be. Parang you're projecting yourself towards your child. So parang kaya ganun yung
And
intensity
projecting
ng
your anger with your child, yeah. Uh-huh.
exactly now. 'Di ba?
Interesting.
That's a possible story. That's a possible story.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I still don't understand why Jennifer, such an intelligent girl, fails to understand the situation.
Right.
Jennifer, can we talk? Because I want to know what's going through your head.
Yan. Totoo.
And why
Pero
would she go that way? Di ba? Parang
mm,
she's using the spell to get pregnant. When mother already told her, we need to think about it many, many times and very deeply before we do, a spell or before we do a piece of magic. And parang it can be mapanlin lang, or I don't know what that means.
mhm,
I
mhm.
didn't read the subtitles, but we have to be really careful when we do something, diba? Because don't just think about the person, think about the people around the person. And
Yeah.
obviously, it has happened before. She's done magic, and it didn't
Mm,
work the way that she wanted it to work because probably of the people around V, which is basically Dong, diba? I mean, his
right.
attraction towards Dong apparently is much stronger than the spell. So now she's
Mhm.
gonna do another spell, and she doesn't even know if it's gonna work. So why risk it? I mean, that's the part that
Yeah.
I don't get on Jennifer's part.
Pero siguro
So,
Mikey, parang ano, I
mm,
was thinking parang like overall looking at the series, I feel like ano eh, parang, I mean, we've heard of this story before, right? Well,
yeah,
except for, kasi di ba parang pinag-uusapan natin ni Lance the last time na parang we've seen or we've heard of this story na parang magkakapatid pinag-aawayan yung isang tao or something like that. Parang we've seen this in other teleseries or other soaps, diba? Dito kasi, parang it's kind of abrupt eh. Parang at once, simultaneously, they're all like gravitating towards V in the middle. Parang sa akin, parang it's not your usual plot eh. Na parang lahat sila andon. Di ba parang, ano ba yun? Parang ang bilis-bilis ng mga nangyayari. Di ba normally in a soap, it would usually take time. Like, this person would, parang have a good time with with one sibling, and then after a while, break sila or nagkita sila with another sibling, nagkagustuhan. Parang it goes on in a progression. But here kasi it becomes intense, like all at once. So parang yun yung sinasabi ko na parang it doesn't really happen all the time on screen, really. But I feel like overall, looking at it, parang these stories, we've heard of these stories before. No matter, I mean, napakasimple lang ng kwento, parang it's familiar, right? But it's done in a very artistic, creative, and very literary manner, right? Diba? Na parang ngayon, mas napukaw yung kaisipan natin because there's an element of magic here, diba? So parang ang thoughts ko lang, parang natutuwa lang ako sa series because they made it artistic and they made use of magic as a way to communicate the same message that we've heard before, that we've probably learned in the past in some soaps or some series, diba? So, kudos. Kasi parang, I don't think it's, diba? Ganun naman yung sa mga soap opera, diba? Na parang, buntis ako, ganyan. Pakasalay, panindigan mo, di ba ganun yun?
Right! Oh my God!
I think nag-resurface yung mga ganong eksena in some mga dramas na napanood na natin before. But here, it's repackaged differently kasi may element na of magic eh. Diba? May element na of trust, diba? Or distrust. Deception, di ba? May ganun na eh, no? So ako kudos to the series because they presented it in a very new manner, repackaged in such a way, and we are now interested. Siguro dun sa point mo na why did she make that choice? I think ang una ko naisip dun is I think they're making a point about love, that love can be obsessive, right? You can be obsessive when it comes to love.
Yeah.
And when you're obsessed, you can do crazy stuff and crazy things, right? Parang, di ba, we've done like crazy things in the past. Parang, pero weird nga eh. Parang, why would you resort to that automatically? Ang nag-resurface agad sa akin yung mga eksena in dramas before na, buntis ako! Sa'yo to, panindigan mo tong anak ko, mga ganyan. Di ba? So yun talaga yung naisip kong parang mangyayari in the next episodes. Pero at least it's repackaged in a very nice manner na parang, di ba, napukaw yung natin, kaalaman, interest natin. Yes.
Right. I'm sorry, guys. If I'm not able to respond as quickly to your chats, I'm reading them now, and I saw a comment by Mom Yao.
Okay.
She said, "Oh my God, I don't know what the time," but she said it's just worrying that Jennifer is not just using magic as a crutch, but as the only way to get V. And
right.
Diba? I mean, that's true, diba? Parang why would you use magic, diba? When kasi parang for me, if you use magic to make someone fall in love with you, then they're not really in love with you. Diba? So parang, why would you cheat yourself sa bagay? Why would you cheat yourself like that? That's the point of the show. That's the point of the show. But seriously, I wouldn't do that. So, Jennifer, we'll see what happens. But really, you're cheating yourself, diba? I mean, you're basically lying to yourself by making a person lie to themselves by making them fall in love with you. So, I mean, that's just a whole complicated thing.
I know. Pero ito kasi, what's so cool about the series is, it's so straightforward eh, na parang manipulation, point on, manipulation, yun, di ba? But kayo ba, like, this is like an overhead question, siguro, let's nuance it into our experiences. Have you ever been into a relationship, or have you ever had, like, did you ever go hanky-panky with someone before, and then you super like this someone, and then suddenly parang sobrang obsession mo for this someone, parang you sort of manipulated the guy, you made use of your psychological tactics here and there para makuha siya, mahumaling siya sa'yo, di ba? May mga ganong, ako I must admit, like I used to like a guy, like my ex in the past, parang ganon. And then parang I would normally, I don't know if gaslighting rather, I would make use of gaslighting for me to always be right? So kahit mali ako, minsan ang nangyayari, nagsusorry na lang yung guy because I sort of like manipulate him psychologically, sort of, right? So may mga ganong eksena, or sometimes when I have a crush on someone, right, I sort of like do something behind his back for him to really gravitate towards me. May mga ganon. Diba? So
Okay.
parang, diba, parang in actual situations, in day-to-day experiences, ang question ko sa inyo, have you ever done some sort of manipulation for you to be able to get to someone, or for someone to gravitate towards you?
Parang, ikaw na, Mikey.
No, not really. I would say I've made advances, or I've made sort of like, kasi parang not really doing stuff behind their back, but maybe sort of like asking someone else to invite them to a particular place. I can be there too. Yung mga ganon. Pero I wouldn't really call that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I wouldn't really call that manipulation. It's basically providing an opportunity for you guys to basically mingle and to be able to chat, diba? Or maybe sort of like invite them to a concert, or invite them to an event, etc. Or maybe I don't know. No, I haven't really done it in a way.
Kasi if it's that kind of purposeful na manipulation, like kasi it's like you only manipulate someone if you're conscious that you're manipulating someone. If you get what I mean? Na it's a conscious effort na you want him to get to you. When if it's in a very malicious way or in a very bad way, kumbaga, I think that's manipulation for me.
Right.
Pero if it's placed in that context, I have never done that. But if it's placed on Mikey's context of manipulation, wherein we're playing with the cards drawn to us and using whatever's given to us to get to the person, I have done that. Kasi parang, ito yung, kumbaga, fate has given me these cards, so let me play with that.
Yep.
Let me see if I can go to another person to use this card. Let me see if I can go to another person to get this. So, yun ang binigay sa akin eh. So, kumbaga, in manipulation in a good way, na let me manipulate what I have with this specifically.
Right. May mga iba pang eksena, like remember, I don't know if you have like friends. I don't have barkadas na ganito yung nangyari. Although I've heard of the stories like kunwari nagiinuman, and then nilasing yung kunwari ako yung tao. Gustong-gusto ko yung isang tao, nilasing siya, and then may nangyari sa kanila. And then the next day, parang awkward between them. So parang kahit hindi naman siya gusto ng tao, parang dinaan sa inom, di ba? Sabi nila, ano yung expression nga, kung may alak, may balak, di ba? Di ba ganun yun? So parang ganun, what I'm trying to say is that parang, I think in day-to-day experiences, I think we have somehow desired for someone, right? To the point that we do things, not necessarily behind them. We do things, tama yung sabi ni Mikey we do things for us to have an opportunity to really interact or have an encounter with them. And I think the series, I think in my opinion, right, I think they did it in a very creative, artistic, literary manner na parang they made use of magic to make that point. Kasi kung makikinig lang tayo sa mga kwento na to, parang, naku, narinig na natin to eh. But they made use of the narrative and the plot to make it interesting. Kasi ako, mas naging interesado ako sa kwento eh, na parang, it makes sense, diba? Yun.
Pero, did you consider what you did as a form of manipulation? Nico?
Good question. Siguro hindi naman, tama eh. Parang I think manipulation is such a strong word. I think I'm leaning towards what Mikey said. Parang, ako kasi, parang I would want to have an opportunity, kasi I like the person. I would want to have an opportunity with that person. If I don't act on it, nothing will happen.
Right. Oh, exactly.
Tama? Ganun naman siya. So parang, siguro manipulation is not really the word, but I try to
create opportunities.
Yeah.
Create opportunities.
Create opportunities.
Play with your cards.
So I create opportunities. So of course, for us, I mean, in day-to-day experiences, talagang ginagawa naman talaga natin yun, di ba? Right? Even people who like us, they would make or create opportunities to really talk to us, di ba? So, ganun naman talaga, I guess. But here kasi, parang, it's a level up higher, I guess. Kasi this is like manipulation per se. Diba? Allure made use of magic to really get the person and drive.
Kasi for example, I mean, if you put it into sort of like a context, diba? Parang when you ask a friend to invite the person you like to a party,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't go otherwise, that's not
Yeah.
really manipulation, diba? Because they can
Correct.
still
Correct.
say no way. Parang they can still
True.
use their intellect, their
Mm.
mental faculties, diba? Pero when you
Right. Right.
magic someone to think a certain way, just like what
Iba na yun.
Alora did to me, Alora, sige, what Alora
Yeah.
did to, diba, Daryl, iba eh, parang you take away that, ano eh, the freedom of choice. So
Correct.
that's what I have a problem with, diba?
Yeah.
Kasi
Okay.
parang, I don't know, parang it's not, ano, it's illusion eh. I mean, it's not real. And
True.
at least when you create opportunities in the real world for you guys to meet, then I mean, you know that if a person likes you or doesn't really like you, diba?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was actually ano eh, parang I was watching over the weekend.
Yeah.
Past couple of days, yung Lock and Key, another magical series on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and I found it really,
Mm.
really interesting. Diba? Like, I know there was a scene there wherein there was a girl that they were manipulating by giving her instructions. So that's pretty much the same thing, diba? Parang they're not really doing
Right.
it because they want to. They're doing it because they are forced to do so. So parang I
Mhm.
don't want to subject the person. If I truly love the person, I wouldn't subject them to that kind of
Mm.
Yeah.
situation.
An
Ayun.
example would be Jay's character. I think he's the easiest way to show manipulation because
Yeah.
Yeah.
he in human terms because he used blackmail to
True.
Yes.
manipulate someone
True.
to get
Yeah.
to this person, and he's using emotional blackmail
Right.
in the
Yeah.
car.
Correct.
He used the first one was visual, now it's emotional. Na parang because he knows everything, so he's
Mhm.
holding
I love.
information using his advantage to get V, kumbaga.
Mm. Mm.
And
Yeah.
parang he's saying words na parang hindi ka mahal ni Dong, hindi ka mahal ni Jennifer, hindi ka mahal na gano'n. And
Mhm.
he knows for sure na mahal sila pareho, ni V. And he's doing it in reverse. So that's manipulation.
At saka, ano no, good thing you mentioned that. Kasi parang he's doing it in sort of like different ways. Actually,
Mm.
he's sort of like a manipulator talaga eh. You mentioned blackmail was the first one, di ba? And then you also mentioned emotional. Well, it's also sort of like ano eh, parang I don't know what the proper term is, pero parang he was very smooth in terms of he's basically a liar, diba? Because he mentioned to be na parang they don't really love you because they did this to you, etc. and so forth, diba? So parang he was
Mm.
also he was trying to play the good boy card. He
Mhm.
was ano ba yan,
Mm.
parang good cop, bad cop, pero bad cop yung
Yeah.
mga kapatid niya, tapos siya yung good cop. So parang ako lang
Right.
naman talaga nagmamahal sa iyo eh. Pero in
Right.
fact, he was lying to V by telling him
Correct.
things that weren't necessarily true, di ba? So parang
True. True.
natapos na siya sa blackmail. So ngayon, parang let's just lie. I'll just lie my way into your heart. And then I'll go down on you so that I can also eat my way to your heart. Charot. Alam mo yun? So parang he's doing it the human way,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not necessarily a good thing because it's still, alam mo yun, prevaricator
Still.
siya eh.
Yeah.
It's not
Correct.
using truthfulness, diba? So in a way, it's still coercion. Again, tama nga, diba? Yung sinabi ni Lance kanina, parang this is all about cheating. They're cheating themselves. They're basically cheating V, diba? So parang, naalala ko tuloy si Makoy Koy. Hi Makoy Koy, if you're gonna watch this. Yung parang protection V squad or V
Yes.
protection squad. Parang they want to protect V. And I'm
Oh.
starting to think that they could probably right because it seems that V is the victim in all of this. But then
We don't know
again,
yet.
we don't know yet,
Maybe the
right?
Antichrist.
He may be an antichrist, an incubus. He may be a magical creature who
Yes.
sort of like gives off this want me energy, love me energy. Mga ganun. So we'll see. I mean, that's still a very interesting idea that we came up with the last chat that we had. So excited to see what happens in the next episode.
Tapos yung last
True.
episode pala, no, would be he was smiling because he ruined everyone's lives.
Oh my God. Huwag naman. Intense.
Or what
Although
if pala all
oh,
this time he was brought into that family so that he can pick them apart because he comes from a rival
pwede.
magical family.
Pwede.
Alam mo
Ano?
yun?
Yes.
Oh,
Ayan.
but the sister is the mother, so that kind of puts that into question.
Hindi pa naman, pwede pa naman. Kasi they could be part of the same coven. In order to go against the coven, she became a sister. She went to a convent.
Yeah,
A
and
convent.
probably that's
Correct.
why
Correct.
that's why she hates him because it's not going
Right.
with the plan. I don't know.
Yes,
Ito na
maybe.
naman tayo.
Yes. Could be.
Masakit naman yung ulo ko, guys. Ayaw.
Ay, pero ano, like overall, like sa series, no, I like, well, I have to agree with Lance. I like the series, but I'm not that crazy. I think yun yung sinabi ni Lance the last time, so last session natin, na parang, it's a good series, but parang, I'm not saying there's nothing so special about the series, but it's not as intense as the other predecessor, diba? Yung like Game Boys and then like GSP, right? Ito kasi parang it's nice, it's nicely crafted. Parang I want more intensity sana. Gets mo? Parang I would want more in the next two episodes. Last two episodes rather. Kasi last two na to no. Pero feeling ko parang kulang-kulang pa yung dalawang episodes to really, flesh out everything Feeling ko may gusto pa akong malaman We'll see.
Unless
We'll see.
cliffhanger yung last episode.
Or, yeah.
Ayun.
Siguro, kulang lang ako sa Jerome Ponce School of Acting with Daryl.
Right.
That shift of emotion, siguro lang.
Exactly.
I need that intensity for a story like this.
Right. Kasi siya yung nakasentro di ba? Give us more of your acting chops, di ba, sana? Kasi dapat ako mismo, like if I will watch the episodes, I should be like focused on you, the character, kasi ikaw mainly yung iniikutan ng mga to di ba? But then again, bumibitaw ako sa'yo because parang hindi ko masyadong nakita yung characterization, I guess. Kaya the acting still matters, no? Yun.
Right.
I hope the next episode we'll see more, yeah. Pero I super like this, I super like this series because, ayan, lumipad na siya. Mike, ikaw muna.
Well, I like the series. I mean, ever since naman and alam naman natin na we got all excited because of our interview with them and what they showed us, what they demonstrated when they did the improv and stuff. So I'm still very excited about what's going to happen in the next couple of episodes. But I'm thinking na yun nga, parang maybe, and Nolan said this as well in the comments, maybe they're gearing up for a season 2.
Yeah,
maybe it's still like what Lance said, maybe it's a slow, medyo it's a slow build up. And then parang they will leave us hanging in the last episode so that they can sort of transition to the second season with that final episode. So I guess I'm parang setting aside my expectations because alam mo naman maraming nagaganap na hindi natin mapipredict or baka naman ma-overthink naman. So I don't want to go that route. So I'm just going to be seeing what happens. Of course, I have some assumptions, but then parang they're not set in stone. And I'm just going to be banking on maybe a lot more revelations coming in the next 2 episodes. So far, we haven't seen a lot from Alan, but in this episode, Dom called Alan, diba? Parang he said, nah, I'm going to go to your place, etc. I don't know why, but when he said that I'm going to go to your place with him crying and all, I was thinking, is something going to happen between them? Is Alan going to be the sort of patch, or ano yun, panakip-butas? So magkakaroon na naman ng sex. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's possibly one thing that's going to happen. And I'm no longer expecting that we're going to see the mistress or the dad.
No, I don't think so.
But if they show them, then okay, we'll go ahead and see what happens there.
We'll see, diba?
Yeah.
But it's still unresolved, diba? Parang it's hanging for me in my head. I want to know what happened with the spell. But it didn't really, parang it didn't really come to a close. So that is still an open-ended thing.
True.
Yeah, I think kasi with the spell, it happened, but syempre it backfired. Kasi things happened. Jennifer knows that it happened, pero it backfired because of love. Diba? We were discussing about this last time. So it's still pushed through. Kaya lang I think she did it clumsily. If you ask one of the people from who does spellcraft, and she did it very clumsily. Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes that could have backfired because of that. And and I'd just like to address a comment lang. I think lesbians for K-pop and BLs. Hi. She mentioned
What?
that she doesn't understand the disappointment
I,
because she thinks that this is the most original, most imaginative BL of 2020. And I agree with that. It's the most
mm,
imaginative, most original story of 2020. And I'm saying story. So it went above everything else for 2020. But
mm,
there's not much of a disappointment. It's just that if you compare acting wise, story wise, the fluidity of
Yeah.
the first BS that came with it before it, like Game Boys, GSP, My Extraordinary, Boys Lockdown. I think they had more fluid storytelling when it comes to
Mm-mm.
this.
Mm-mm.
So and the characters are more fleshed out. They were more well built. They're more fluid in terms of the ensemble of everyone
Right.
else. So
Right.
yun
Right.
lang.
Right. I have to
mm,
agree with Lance. It's not necessarily disappointment kasi it's more like parang wish list sana natin to fill in the gap sana. But we're not saying
Yeah.
it's a bad series really. Parang it's a good series and we celebrate the series like
Oh
every
mm,
yes.
single episode. Like I'm telling you, parang we're there. We've given
Yeah.
up some series in the past, diba? Alam niyo
Eh
yan.
kung ba naman kasi yung top tier mo, yung first people who came into the BL world were
Right.
Kokoy de Jesus and Kokoy de Santos and Elijah Canlas. Those
Yeah,
two
yeah.
are veteran actors in the industry. So
Correct, correct.
mm,
they set up the tier so high, then followed by
Yeah,
Paolo and Ian Pangilinan. So
right,
mm,
they
right.
set another bar, and they were backed up by Juan Miguel Severo and JP Habak. So,
True, true.
mm.
so it's bar
Yeah.
after
So
bar.
correct. So many bars.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree. And if you notice, I mean, we have perspectives that are similar, and we also have perspectives that are a little bit different. Diba? So, and
Mm.
that's the beauty of this discourse, diba? Parang we're all seeing at it from a different lens. So we have different interpretations, and maybe we have different sort of like expectations, diba?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But for my part, my expectation, I'm not technically comparing it to any other series. For my
Mm.
part naman, parang it's just the experience. So when I see
Yeah.
something like, for example, that conversation between V and Jennifer. So when I see that conversation, and then I didn't feel involved, and I didn't feel
Ayun.
impacted. I mean,
Yes.
True,
Same.
true.
I have to call it out, and no shame, right? Because we know how talented these people are. We've seen what they can do.
Right,
Yeah.
They love. It's
right.
just that when you see something and it doesn't impact you or it doesn't capture you in that way, of course you're gonna question back it. And then you're gonna think, kasi yung acting, parang hindi niya nagampanan ng natural. Parang mga ganon, di
Mm.
ba? So parang,
Yeah.
and you see it with other shows as well. You see it with, let's say, movies, di ba? So parang, medyo yung acting niya, hindi ako na-capture, hindi ako
Yeah.
nahugot, di ba? So, I
Mhm.
mean, that's what we're coming
Mhm.
from. Of course,
Yes.
overall, we love the series, and that's why we're doing this a lot, because
Yeah.
we want to be able to go
True.
on that journey with them. It's just that
Correct.
because we love the series so much, and because we see it for everything that it is, we see the good points, and we also see the room or the points for improvement. And that's what
Right.
you do, even with a person that you love. You don't ignore all the things that could be improved. You tell them, you let them know, and of course, you acknowledge it. Kasi
Right.
parang you don't blind. I mean, people say love is blind, but actually no. Love sees everything for what it is,
Yes.
despite the many faults or the many flaws that that person has. So the same
Right.
thing. We
Right.
love the series for what it is, but of course, we still comment on what it can improve on. So
Right.
yun, di ba? And of course, we want them to improve in the next season. So if we
Yes.
don't point out, di ba? If we don't point it out, if we actually
Opportunity.
just say the good things and
Yeah.
ignore the bad things, we're actually doing them a disservice, because they need to be able to know what it is that they can improve on para magawa rin nila ng mas mahusay or mas maganda next time. And
Yeah.
kahit
Yeah.
naman kami, if you guys disagree with us, disagree with our perspectives, you let us
It's
know,
okay.
just like what you did right now. And it's okay. Kasi iba-iba naman
Totally.
talaga yung
Totally.
pananaw natin. At sana,
Right. Right.
we come to I guess a wider perspective as well, and a common
True.
appreciation for the
True,
shows.
true, true. Well, pero Mikey, I'd like to back on to what you said, ha? Parang, the reason also that we don't say, ang pangit, I have concerns about the scene. We always say that, I have a question. I am uncertain.
Mm.
Based on my experience, based on my opinion, we always keep on saying that, right? Na parang it's based
Mm.
on what we see, like from our perspective, and we don't always critique like ang pangit agad. We're not really like how do you call that, black or white sa mga scenes eh. We always say, I'm not sure, I'm not certain, this is just me, lagi tayong ganun, di ba? Because we're not
Mm.
really saying in absolutes eh, but we're talking about, or we're basing
Right.
everything on our experiences. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, if based on our experience we think it's pangit, we won't even bother checking out the series. You won't even
yes,
bother discussing it in this platform. We
true,
just let it stay there where it is, kumbaga.
right, right,
So
right.
yeah, and kasi for me personally, this is my genre, kumbaga. I'm big
Mm,
into the fantasy, witchcraft, wizardry
Mm.
type of realm, sci-fi realm. So there are a lot of pretty high standards when it comes to that for me,
yan,
especially in terms of accuracy in spellcraft, in terms of accuracy in the
right.
chants, and etc. So yeah. So kaya I'm
Yes.
really iffy on that. I'm really conscious on that because it could hit a lot of bars.
Yep,
Again,
yep.
bars.
Pero
Chocolate
I'd like
bars. Charot.
I'd like to ano parang highlight something more bigger about the series though. Ito yung sinabi ni Joyo. Siguro lang nakaka-relate ako dahil baliw ako sa
Ah.
pag-ibig and siguro dami sa atin ang gagawin ang lahat dahil sa pag And there's another comment by Joy somewhere at the bottom. Eh. Let me
Yes,
just
Si
check it
Joy,
out.
Joy.
grabe yan
Preach,
magmahal
Joy.
eh.
I know.
Dati
Bigay,
Oh,
bigay
may,
todo si Joy
bigay,
eh.
correct, bigay todo yan.
Ito, may sinabi sir. Pero sorry for me, I love and I'm crazy
I'm
about it.
crazy about it.
Yeah, and dahil 'di ba, di lang siya about sex, love, BL and kabalyuhan sa pag-ibig na andun na basta I love it. Ito sasabihin ko, para adding to what Joy said, I think the series is worth celebrating because parang it created a very chaotic plot eh, 'di ba? Parang
Mm-hmm.
we've heard
Mm-hmm.
stories about like LGBT challenges. 'Di ba? We've seen the story of Game Boys. We've heard the story of GSP. And you know how chaotic it is like in relation to the external world, 'di ba? The society and everything. Ito naman, it's chaotic within their world eh, 'di ba? So parang I think what the series is saying is that, if you are, if you love someone of the same sex, it is chaotic still. 'Di ba sabi nga ni Mother ni Tuesday Vargas, may line siya doon na ang pag-ibig ay masakit, 'di ba? Or painful. May
Yes.
sinabi siyang ganun. And love at least sa community sa atin is really challenging, and I think that's what the series is really showing. It's crafted in a way with the use of magic na parang mas magka-interest tayo at mapag-usapan talaga natin. So more than anything, I think we're not really disappointed. I think we're here to really push more the story because we want more, and we are really celebrating Cheat the series more than anything. It's saying the same message over and over again, but it's repackaged in a different way. Kumbaga na-elevate ang message or ang pagkakwento eh, with this particular series. And hence, I really like the series. Yun.
Yeah. So, since you mentioned that love is painful, and I
Yeah.
think that's ano eh, I think that's something that Jennifer has to accept, diba? Parang she has
Right.
to accept the fact na B does not love her, but she
Mm,
can't, diba? Parang because that's one of two ways that you can deal with pain. Either
yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
accept it and you go through it and move on,
Mm-mm.
or you take the pain and then you twist it into something else, which is
Yep.
making more magic, right? And that's the reality kasi eh. Parang there will be times wherein the person that we love doesn't love us back. And
Yep.
that's life, diba? Parang
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you can't be in love with someone and not experience some form of pain. Kasi, di
Yep.
ba,
Yep. Yep.
parang
Yep.
yun nga eh, when you love someone kasi, you make yourself more vulnerable to them. And they actually have that power and they have that opportunity
Right.
to hurt you, maybe inadvertently, maybe unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever. But
Yep.
because you are more vulnerable, then you open yourself up to more pain.
Right.
Diba? Pero I think what Jennifer is doing here is parang she doesn't want to feel the pain. She
Yeah.
wants to just feel the love, which again is
Right.
manufactured love. And that's not really what love is, diba? Yung
Kung
parang,
nasaktan ako doon.
oh, sorry na. Diba?
Manufactured love, oh my
Natamaan din
gosh.
doon.
Manufactured love yun eh, di ba?
True,
Because
true,
and
true.
that is, I think that's pretty much what everyone is doing so far. No,
Yeah,
kasi
yeah, yeah.
Migo is parang medyo na-confuse ako kay Migo kasi in the beginning he was a player, di ba?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
now he's crying because V is supposedly in love with Jennifer. But in the beginning, he was also sort of like manipulating the person. Di ba? Parang he was using his body and, parang once he got what he wanted, he was being aloof and all of that. Di ba? And then Jay is using lies. And then Jennifer is using magic. So, alam mo yun, parang I think these are all different aspects of how you can sort of like approach love. And so far, I don't think we've seen a true expression of love yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we? Parang wala pa masyad, parang wala pa. So I don't know if we are gonna see that or who's gonna end up with who, but hopefully somebody makes a true act of love and that person will be the winner. Winner talaga. Parang contest lang talaga.
Yeah. I think the truest form of love I've seen in this story came from the mother. Sa totoo lang.
Mm-hmm.
I think sa kanila lang galing eh. Kasi she's being protective of her children. That's why she did this act. I think that's the truest form of love I've seen. Pero, ito nga si Nico. Anyways. Pero sa pula talaga yung sinabi mo, Mike, yeah.
Alin doon? Sorry.
Matamaan din sa Lian eh.
Ay, pasensya na. Sorry na. Pero the thing that you said, parang the truest form of love was done by the mother. Pero, kasi parang I'm seeing it na parang she wants to protect her children by doing the magic. But then again, if what you're doing still hurts someone, parang hindi ko siya ma-express ng parang I can't really express it
Kasi,
verbally or coherently. Pero parang I guess I want to know, what did you mean when you said that she was protecting her children? That's her true
I
expression of
mean,
love.
kasi her truth is, kumbaga, if we believe that love doesn't have to inflict pain, pero it's their world. I mean, that's how she shows love. It's like a lioness biting off her enemy.
Okay.
So that's how she shows love. Eh, ganun yung mundo nila eh. And yun nga, and I think Jude has a point there. Na this story is more about obsession of love.
Yeah.
It's about the craziness of love.
Right.
So
I think
the question,
Right.
I have a question for you guys. Kasi Nico had a question about manipulation. The question is, have you ever been obsessed with love? Parang si Joy, na nabaliw sa pag-ibig.
Right.
Have you gone through that, and what have you done?
Yep. I think
In that
I have
obsession?
to tama sabi ni Jude nga it's about obsession about love, and I think we discussed this naman in early part of our session. But to Elanza's question, have I done something? I'm very rational kasi as someone eh. Parang, so pag kunwari na feel ko ng pahabol yung person and I feel like I'm getting obsessed already, I don't really get to the point that I become crazy to the point na hahabol-habol ako. Parang I never did that ever. Like even with my first, hindi ko talaga siya nagawa ever. So I get the whole point of being obsessed. I felt that I became obsessed, but I never get to the point na sobrang binigay ko na lahat. Kumbaga, meron din akong para sa sarili ko, di ba? So yun.
Yeah. I guess yun well, that's me as well. I'm very hindi man siguro my word would be cautious. I'm very cautious. Parang
Right.
when I feel na I'm gonna get hurt, I pull back. Or when I think na it's not gonna go in the way that I want it to go, I also sort of like pull back. Diba? So I haven't gone the obsession route.
Yeah.
Siguro the most was I've thought about the person, medyo stinok ko sila, pero not to the point of doing anything na, alam mo yan, of this magnitude or of this level. Probably because, yun nga eh, parang I don't want a love that is not freely given. Alam mo yun? So
Right.
parang I'm gonna give the person chances to sort of like show their interest. Pero kung wala talaga, So parang, okay, wag na. Parang bakit ko pa pipilitin yung sarili ko?
Correct.
Especially when it's very obvious na they're not, they don't see me in that way. Or they don't feel the same way. So, alam mo yan.
Yeah. And I can relate to Meow kasi I've been there. I've been there and I've been obsessed with the idea of falling in love.
Wow.
And it's my first.
Paano ka naging obsessed?
No, I mean, di ba, I'm also a rational being. So I'm a rational person. So
Yeah.
when you start throwing away all the rational stuff, when you start throwing away or start not listening to that side of your head,
Yeah.
and you just start going with your heart, parang that's when you're saying na that's where obsession begins, kumbaga. Kasi you tend to give and
all
give
the time.
until matauhan ka.
True.
And I've been there siguro 1, 2, 3.
More than once?
Yep. Pero in different degrees, but not as bad as them. Pero yeah. Parang I've been there, so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I know how dark it can get. I know how evil it can get also, especially on my third, on the recent one I had before my current. So yeah, we can do. The thing is, opposite to with Cheat the series, they're inflicting pain on other people, and I think I'm more on the side of the sister. You inflict pain on yourself.
Oh, okay.
Kumbaga ganon. Not like the Alex Diaz sort of level, but
okay.
it's close. Yung Alex Diaz Omando sort of level, but it's close to that string.
Right.
So I've been there.
Right.
So masakit sa ulo minsan. I mean, kasi it's something. Kasi if you're naturally a helper, your core is a helper, when you want to help people. So you try every little thing you can do to save the relationship. Pero yun pala, nakakasakit na pala sa'yo.
Yep. Here's the thing.
My question.
Something you should know. Or before we get to the question, no. Many, I think, are more in love with the idea of being in love. Yes, Jude. Yes.
Yes, Jude.
Feeling ko ako ganun ako. Rather than the person they're with. I've observed it with people I know who can't seem to live a life without being in a relationship. Wait, I have to bank on this. Kasi ako, di ba, I think I did share this with you, Mike, with another friend. Sabi ko, baka hindi ko naman gusto talagang maging in a relationship, right? I just like the idea of being in a relationship. But me in it will be a different story, right? And once I'm in it, I go crazy. And I don't want to be crazy. And it's not me. So right now, I'm like, I don't want to be in a relationship. So isa yung sa reasons kung bakit I'm still like single. And I'm happy, really. And I'm not sad even. Diba? I mean, I can be alone, but I'm not necessarily lonely. So maganda yung sinabi.
Right. And I think, one of the truest forms of love, and it's not easy, but it can be done, is to love yourself first.
Right.
Because I think the reason why a lot of people are maybe not happy being alone is because they're not happy with who they are. So, I mean, if you love yourself and you're happy with your own company, and I actually have really great conversations with myself, right? Oh,
yeah.
Bakit?
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, Mikey, I do that. Is it a Virgo thing? Sorry.
It's a Virgo thing. Yeah, but
No, it's also Pisces.
Talaga? Pisces thing. Yeah. So, I mean, di ba, parang, I mean, we've all seen people who are not really obsessed, but parang who really want to be in a relationship because maybe number one, they're pressured. Maybe they put the pressure on themselves because maybe they have this goal. They have, let's say, an objective, or maybe they have a 10-year plan. Parang, by this age, I should be married. By this age, I should have 2 kids, etc. So that is the pressure that they put on themselves. And then there's the pressure that the other people or society or the family put on them. Diba? Like parang, asan yung mga apo ko? Or parang, bakit wala ka pang girlfriend? Bakit wala ka pang boyfriend?
Right. That's why.
Diba? So parang, that's why they feel that they need to be in a relationship because somehow if they don't do it, then they are maybe disappointing or letting down the people around them or the people that they care about. So that's another pressure. I mean, technically it's a pressure that you put on yourself, but it doesn't help that people are pressuring you to do so.
True.
And I guess the third one is parang it's because of this romantic notion na parang when you're in a relationship, everything is gonna be peachy, everything is gonna be better.
Cotton candy, sweets.
Cotton candy, rainbow, diba? So parang My Little Pony kind of world, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that because there will be instances wherein sabi nga ni Bo Sanchez, you have to die unto yourself talaga. Parang each and every time when you are in a relationship with someone, you actually stop really thinking about yourself. You think about you and this other person. Diba? Kasi what if, for example, you want to go out on a Friday night, but then this person wants to be with you, and because you love the person, you want to spend more time with them as well, and you want to make them happy. So alam mo yan, yung mga ganung bagay. So there's a lot of considerations by being in a relationship. So it's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea because a lot of people are more independent. A lot of people don't want to be constrained by that kind of structure or that kind of restriction, kumbaga, diba? So basically, that's why I said earlier na parang one of the truest forms of love is to love yourself. Now, if you love yourself, if you're alone, you're happy, be you, diba? And if you love yourself and then you come to a relationship wherein this person also loves you and you love them and you bring out you bring out the best in each other, or basically you sort of like complement each other, then be in that relationship, diba? Because obviously you're growing together and you respect each other and you love each other. So go ahead and do that. But don't be pressured to be in a relationship if you're not really the type of person to be in a relationship. Or if you're not ready for a relationship right now, don't force yourself to be in a relationship. Because, time will come, even if it's 50, even if it's 70, that, that might be the time when you meet your person. Like maybe that person isn't even born yet. And we've seen that happen. Diba? Some relationships. Yes, it is possible. So, alam mo yun, parang don't rush.
Yep.
Can't hurry love.
Wait,
Yeah.
Nico Froze. Thank you so
pero
much.
ano lang, ako last
Ayan
up
na.
talaga. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, you can
Ayun
hear
na naman
you.
ako sa can you hear me? Ayoko nang
Can you
gamitin.
hear me? Papa, can you hear me?
Uy, pero parang siguro I'd like to parang share my last insight pertaining as regards that Mikey, no. Parang have you heard of Alain de Botton? Have you seen some of his videos? I'll share the link dito sa chat ha. Share ko na ngayon. But for those of you watching, friends, you can watch this after the session. He talks about the idea of romanticism, pre-Victorian era, pre-Victorian time. Parang the idea of romanticism wasn't really there, right? But romanticism came, sabi nga niya, parang dinagdag niya dito sa speech niya, or somewhere in his article, one of his articles, sabi niya, hindi lang daw religion ang opium. Di ba parang Karl Marx said, religion is the opium of the people or society.
Yeah, for the masses.
Of the masses. And then dinagdag niya, religion and romance are both opiums of society daw. So parang in this particular video, na expounding idea of romanticism, that romanticism is really an invention of man daw. I don't know, it's a whole different discussion, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes we have to think on our feet and be thinking individuals, be parang rational beings, that love is not something that you need to be influenced by other people in society out there, but it's your decision, right? If you're not ready, just like you made mention of people being pressured to get married because you're 30 already, you have to have a kid at this point, diba?
Yeah, you're going beyond your childbearing years.
Right. Pero again, love, romance is your decision to make at the end. So watch this video. It's a good video, really. Parang maganda siya. Pero medyo masakit sa ulo kasi nag-replay akong ganyan kasi hindi ko naintindihan yung mga parts kasi ang bilis niya magsalita. Pero super galing niya talaga. It's Alain de Botton. Yun lang.
Tapos 1 hour pa. 1 hour pa siya.
1 hour siya. So watch it if you have time. Okay?
You know what? I already forgot, so I'm gonna watch it again.
Okay.
Pero diba, kasi diba, I think the thing is, it's two different aspects of life. Like, romance is born from emotion.
Yep.
And that's why the romance era came from the Renaissance. Because it was all about passion, it was all about love, right. It was about the flourish of the arts. It was a flourish of kumbaga, that side of the world. Diba?
Yeah.
And you go back to neoclassicism, which is more on the intellectual thought of man.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
iba-iba eh. It's up to you where you want to go to. And I think that brings us to the next question that QTV mismo nagtanong.
Yes.
Don't you
Okay.
think that love can be taught and to patiently wait for the other to learn how to love you back?
Yeah,
If
sakit.
you want me to answer that question agad, I have an answer already.
Go, go,
Second
go.
question
Parang
now. Go.
to address the first question without the context of the second question, yes, love
Mm.
can be taught kasi
Mm.
we're all being taught to love generally by our parents, by the people around us. Kasi
Mhm.
we're all taught by example. Like if we don't have any visuals of a hug could signify a love, a form of
Mm.
love, or giving could be could signify a form of love.
Mhm.
Parang where do we learn that, 'di ba? Where do we learn that from? Who would have taught us na ganun yun? Like we
Mm.
were programmed somehow, or we learned it somehow through the people around us na hugging someone is a form of love. Like if let's reverse it naman ideologically. Let's say after the pandemic, hugging now is a sin kasi you can get the flu or you can get the COVID afterwards. So mag-iiba na naman yung form of love ng hugging. Or hugging would be no longer be associated to love.
Ah.
So love in that form can be taught, pero to
Mhm.
love someone is a different way.
Mm, mm, mm.
Parang to
Mm.
love it can be taught, but to love someone is different.
Okay.
If you get it. No, I think for me to love someone naman is gonna be a no. You can learn to love someone, or you can be taught to love someone, but that usually doesn't last.
Right.
I've been in twice. And to
Mm.
patiently wait for the other to learn to love you back, it's an
Mm.
agony. It's an ecstasy and an agony, according to their title. It's both. Ecstasy in a way kasi you're
Mhm.
trying to wait. You're in the waiting game na parang I'm excited for that to happen if the person I love would love me back. And it's an agony
Mm.
while you're waiting it to
Mm.
happen. Very Jennifer, no? Pero yun, I don't think, I mean, to love can be taught, but to love someone is a difficult matter wherein it can't be taught directly. It should happen inherently.
But here's like,
Mm.
siguro I'd rather answer this question by asking another question. Parang is
Mhm.
love really a construct or a concept that needs to be taught?
Uh,
Silence
Naghanga
taught
pa
me.
by
doon.
yeah, yeah, taught by experience and example. Yun lang. I'm stressing na not it should be taught in not in a school way, kumbaga.
Right. Okay.
It's taught by how you do it or how you show it. Like for example, kung let's say let's go with the two examples dito. The mother and the sister. For the
Mhm.
sister, the way of
Mhm.
love for her is flagellating herself.
Mm.
Because that's how she was raised, that's how she was taught. To love herself is to hit
Mm.
herself.
Right.
To inflict on herself, parang ganun.
Okay.
On the
Okay.
mother's way, to love someone is to protect someone. Yung to protect someone like a lioness. Bite and attack. If
Okay.
the people you love around you gets hurt. So hence, that's why I've been wondering din na kung bakit ganon yung trato ni na Jennifer, ni Jay, and ni Dong on terms of love. Na love
Mm.
is like it in order to love someone, there should something should happen. Kasi that was how they were conditioned, or that was how they were taught based on experience, based on what they
Mhm.
saw, what happened to the
Mhm.
mother. In order for the mother to get the father's love, she had to do something. She had to create something,
Mm.
'di ba?
That's why. Right. 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 Right.
Yes.
Mm.
So as a
Hmm.
construct, it
Okay.
exists, but we need visual
Yun nga
representation of what
eh.
love is.
Right. Right.
Kasi without it, parang ano, so anything could be love.
Ako naman,
Depending on what moral grounds you sit on, kumbaga.
Right.
right. Ako naman, I think I'm reminded by this song kasi parang I think it's by Elton John and George Michael. Parang I can't make you love me if you
That.
don't. You can't make your heart feel something it won't. So I'm
Uy,
thinking kasi parang
tuloy mo yun.
here
Sure lang.
in the dark. Charot.
Yeah.
um, I'm thinking kasi and there's been a lot of conversations about love, but parang for based on what we've experienced and what we've talked about, I think naman kasi parang the 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 question for me should or see I can't even verbalize it, but it should be a person can grow to love you, and like Lan said, it is inherent. It is not something that the concept of love, or the feeling of love, you cannot be taught that. You will have to feel it.
Right, right.
The language of love
That
can be taught. Diba? It's like
Yes.
Lan said, it's
Yes.
in the exercise. It is in the action. Diba? So let me expand that further. Diba? Because for example, I can love you, but I may not be able to show you that I love you. Kasi for me, mahal kita. Pero siguro yung paraan ko or the way that I'm showing it is not in the way that you are used to. So therefore, alam mo, parang you don't think that I love you, but in fact I love you. So what I'm saying is parang your idea of love may not be my idea of love, but how I manifest that love can be told to me, in the sense now we will both understand that when I do this, this is showing me love, or when I do that, then that is showing me love. Alam mo yun? Kasi parang, yun nga eh, parang you can't teach a person or you can't tell a person to love you. Because no matter how many times you tell a person, love me, love me, love me, if they don't feel it,
Say that
they
you love
won't.
me.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You can tell a person, say you love me, but if they don't feel it, they will say they love you, but they don't necessarily love you. Diba? So it's not so for me, the feeling of love, the emotion of love cannot be taught. It is something that
right.
the person will just feel. Now, you can wait for them to grow to love you, but again, it is not something that you can impose on someone else. But in terms of, let's say, show me you love me by doing this, or I will feel loved if you do this, then that is something that we can teach a person. Diba? So, for me, going back to the question, no, I don't think it can be taught, but a person can grow to love you. And yes, you can patiently wait for that other person to love you back. But whatever you do, don't expect na it will force them to love you. You know?
Right,
I hope that makes
right.
sense.
Pero
Yun.
Mikey Lance, ito siguro parang bigger question siguro, parang follow-up question to this. Are you even willing to teach love and be patient for love?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing that ever since.
When you're in a
Why?
relationship, di ba? Parang
Yeah.
you you love someone and they
Yeah.
love you in some form of way or in some level, but then again, maybe your love language is different from theirs, so there will still be sort of like imbalances or misunderstandings or maybe even arguments that can happen. Kasi yun nga
Right,
eh, you love each other through feeling, but then you're not necessarily loving each other in in the way that you want to be loved, because their actions, how they grew up, how they express love is not necessarily the same as you.
right,
So
right.
if you get what I mean.
Yep. But what I'm hearing from you guys now, I think kasi ang overhead question ko kanina before we started the session, parang is love absolute, right? Parang kasi ako, I'm very categorical eh. Very
No.
transactional to that point. Eh, diba?
No.
Like super, like kunwari, parang if you're not interested in me, parang if you tell me to patiently wait for you, I will not patiently wait for you. That's me. Okay? Kasi I can't waste my time for you because I have so much going on in me. Ako palang mismo, di ba? I'm burying myself. I have a lot going on, like in my head, emotions, and I can do a lot of things, right? So for me to patiently wait for you is a waste of time. Parang kasi ako I put myself so much into the relationship for the person. I give, and I give. So sayang eh pag hindi ako certain, 'di ba? Pero yun nga eh. Parang I think this question is good because it made me realize that love is never absolute. Like it should be nuanced in different contexts and stories. Like love for Lance is different from love for Mikey. It's totally different, right? Ako, love for me is totally different, right? If I were to categorically answer this question, I will say no. Love cannot be taught. Ako to, no? Talking, speaking.
Mm.
Because para sa akin, at the moment that you are interested in me and I'm interested in you, that's already something, right? But if I'm interested in you and then hahabol-habol lang ako sa'yo, and then, di ba, I would show you how to love me. Well, that's a way to really teach the person to love me. And I don't want to do that. So to this question, it's a no, di ba? Ako to, sa experience ko, the person that I am, as the person that I am, no. And can I patiently wait for someone, ano to? Wait
To
for the
love,
other to how to love back? No, I cannot be that patient, and I'm not that person at all. Kaya nga, hey, I'm single and mingling and happy. Char. Not even mingling, di ba? Parang that's me. So again, yun nga, parang love is never absolute, right? This answer will have different answers.
Mhm.
This question will have different answers from different people.
Right.
Eh. Yun.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So direct, I have a question for you, Don. Is this a foreshadowing of what will happen in episode 5 and 6?
Oh,
Are you
yes.
saying Jennifer and V will end up together?
My
That she will able to teach
goodness.
Jennifer, that Jennifer will able to teach V to love her?
Oh my god.
Hmm. Or maybe Dong. I don't know. Let's see.
Wait,
Well, wala si VR ngayon, si UD si direct na pumapasok. I love it.
but we'll see. We'll see the next episode. Yes.
Yes.
It's nice. I like it. Uy. Yes,
Siguro if we-
UTV. We love your question. We love the series. Yay.
Yes. Siguro ano rin, napaisip rin ako, 'di ba? Parang in a way, I think kung tayo naman yung receiving end, parang sila yung nag-patiently wait for us. Sila yung parang nagta-try to reach out. I think there were some instances din na parang I grew to love the person back. But maybe not in the way that they wanted to be loved. Kaya hindi rin nag-work out.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
ayun, alam mo yun, parang yun nga eh, sabi mo nga Nico eh, parang there are no absolutes to it eh. Kasi love romanticized is, and especially in the movies, diba? Once they say yes, that's it. Parang we don't, happily ever after now, we don't see the things that happen after marriage.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's more to the story, but then it ends at the marriage. It ends with the I do. It ends with the yes, tayo na, diba? So, that's the thing eh. Parang that's not life eh. Parang so that's why it's not absolute talaga eh. Kasi there could be a lot of things that happen after that which can break the deal. Alam mo yun? And iba-iba yung deal breakers natin. Baka naman yung iba, parang ayaw nila na nangungulangot in public. I don't know, whatever. Or yung iba, ayaw nila na parang may bisyo, di ba? Nagyoyosi, gano'n. So that could be a deal breaker. So it can be anything. And because we're human eh. Because we all have different ways of, or different things that we can accept and different things that we cannot accept. So, alam mo yun, parang nag-iiba talaga per person. So, I think the only absolute love is, and again, cheesy, pero the love of the divine, di ba?
Yep.
So, yun, you can say that's absolute. But human beings, no.
No, we're not perfect.
We have our limitations. Exactly. We're not perfect. We have our limitations. There are just some things that we cannot accept. So, yeah.
And natutuwa ako kasi if you put it that way, na love, kasi notice every freaking BL series, parang after that kiss, after that moment of sparks and
The
love,
high five.
tapos na the high five, the hug, the kiss through the plastic, the kiss in the bed, the kiss through what else ba? The
On
kiss
the
through the
street.
seas. Mga ganon. So, ang daming moments, and some of them end it there. They just put you into a lingering story, or that 5-second kiss, kumbaga. They end you with that lingering story afterwards, where you don't see what happens afterwards. So I appreciate it in a way na, let's say, I go back with one of the first series natin, Game Boys, na after that plastic kiss, through the plastic kiss, you got to see that love didn't really end there. You got to see na nag-away pa sila. There was a battle between the argument. And what I appreciated with QTV and what they've done with this is they threw it agad. they threw the kiss agad, and let's see what will happen afterwards. Kumbaga, they reshape that format. They gave you the kiss. Okay, what's happening afterwards? Let's see.
Yep.
Especially since, alam mo yun, di ba? Parang, again, kisses are romanticized. Na parang, it sort of like steals the deal. But then, it can just be physiology. It can just be hormones. I mean, it is just one expression and manifestation of love. But then again, there are other forms. There are other ways. And then there are other things that can, again, like I mentioned, break the deal. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is, contrary to the notion that love is always rainbows and cotton candy and etc., it's actually a lot of work. And we've had this conversation before, di ba, Nico? But it entails a lot of work. It is the constant decision to be with that person,
Exactly.
do what needs to be done to keep that relationship, di ba?
Right.
Kasi yun nga eh, parang there are some things that you will have to sacrifice. There are some things that you won't be willing to sacrifice. There are some things that you have to compromise on. There are some things that you have to talk about. There are some things that you have to give away. There are some things that you need to have. So it's all about, parang that constant communication and commitment to love and do the needful for that person and to make the relationship work.
Hindi, Mikey, araw-araw na decision yan eh, di ba?
Diba?
It's an everyday decision that you make.
Yes! Very true.
Yes. I like this discussion.
Hopefully you make that decision happily and you make that decision easily and willingly. Because if you don't have the willingness, then you better start questioning why you're still in that relationship.
Yes.
And if you're not happy making that decision, or maybe not necessarily happy, but you're willing, again, you go back to the willingness to do that, then you better start thinking about why are you not willing? Kasi baka naman there's something that you're not getting, or maybe there's something missing. So you have to think about it, and then you have to talk about it with your partner.
Right. And sometimes there are things that left unsaid kasi no matter how much you talk about it, like in my past, it won't stay. Like, it won't be absolute.
Yeah.
Ang drama nga nung akin eh, kasi it all happened during a storm.
Ooh! Exciting! Tell us about it.
Sobra! As in, my crossroads were during a storm. So, baha pa. So, and during that year, I was contemplating. I had the same, yung sasabi mo na, I have those thoughts about it. Tapos, kasi ang daming inconsistencies. There's so much inconsistencies na hindi ko na makayang I couldn't forgive anymore. Kumbaga, I couldn't throw away. It's stuck talaga sa akin. Na no matter how much I tried to correct him throughout the 5 years, wala pa nangyayari. So, and I was walking through a storm. I was deciding if ever should I go to sa place niya or uuwi ako. Ang nangyari, umuwi ako. So parang that's when I was thinking while walking through the baha, thinking, ano magagawin ko sa buhay ko? Ano na, will this be the end game na when I try to confront him? And then I asked a very simple question lang sa kanila. Na what are our commonalities and what are our differences? Just give me 3 answers. Sabi kong ganun. And that answer broke it off na for me. Kasi for me, his answers was so like if your commonality, your sagot sa'yo would be we both like watching movies, eating out, and traveling. How would you respond if you had a very long 5-year relationship?
Parang, is that it?
Yeah. So that's parang that was the question I asked during the typhoon. I sent him a text message and I got that answer. and then the differences I got naman were like he highlighted more on the age difference that we had. Okay. Tapos sinabi niya rin sa akin na multitasker ako, he goes on a different pace, and he hates that I play video games. Yeah. And those were his exact words. So yun yung mga words niya talaga. So parang sabi ko, and during that time, my core was video games. My clutch was video games. So parang it felt like, okay, you're destroying my clutch. You didn't understand why I play video games during that time.
Okay.
Next day, actually, pinatigil pa ako for 2 days sa bahay because sobrang baha sa labas. When the baha subsided, when the storm lifted, I went to his house, broke it off.
Wow.
And when I was riding a taxi going to work, insert Moira singing Malaya. There you go. Seriously, no joke. It really happened.
Oh my god. Wait, seriously, that was the song playing on the radio?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god.
No joke. And I was crying and going to work while the song was playing in the background. I was like, oh, shit.
Pero alam nyo, grabe no, whenever you're in love or whenever you're going through something pertaining to romance and love, diba? Parang songs seem to have more meaning once you hear them, diba? Parang haladay, anong gagawa ng pag-ibig, chart.
Yes.
Tapos damag-damag ko talaga yung lyrics na, malaya ka na.
Yeah!
During that time.
Yes. Gusto ko yun. That was a good discussion, yeah. I'd like to thank UTV for joining us in this discussion and session. Of course, we still have the last 2 episodes. That's going to be next week. Tama ba? We still have another next week, and then
I think tuloy-tuloy naman siya eh.
Okay. All right. So we'll be there. We'll also give our lives and our views also about the last 2 episodes. But do you have anything else to say, Mikey, Lance, before we head on to the fun part of our session tonight?
I'm good. Lance?
I'm good too.
Perfect.
Kudos, we are gonna do.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. One final thing.
Go.
The way these people kiss.
Yes. Mama.
Yes.
Sana yung naturalness na yun translates to all the rest of it.
Right.
Yep.
VR, galing humalik.
I have a term to use. Parang 'di ba para silang kumakain ng bulalo. Parang give us bulalo acting. Ganun na lang. Give us bulalo acting. Ganon.
Yung bone marrow, ganon.
Oo. Oy, charot lang.
Gusto ko yan. So, UTV, more bolalo acting. Charot.
Yeah. Yung tipong malaman, di ba? Yung bone marrow talaga di ba?
Ramdam mo eh.
Grabe.
Yeah.
Saktong-sakto pa. The goddess mentioned was Hathor. She was the cow goddess, the cattle goddess of Egypt. So, ayun. More bulalo acting.
Sakto, nag-connect. I love it. Gusto ko yan. Cool. Alright, so we'll make it a little bit more fun. We'll be giving away a free pass tonight, okay? Care of someone, a sponsor gave us free passes. We have 5. We already gave out yesterday 1 via our Instagram live. I was with Lance last night. Mikey was also there, and it was Mamia who won the first first free pass. Tonight we'll be also be giving another pass for The Boy Foretold by the Stars. And I'll turn you over to Lance. How are we going to go about this?
It's going to be simple now. Could you flash on the screen? Ganun eh. Yung screenshot. We're just going to show a screen clip or a screenshot of a scene from the trailer. And all you have to do is fill in that white space.
Oh my gosh, sorry.
That's it.
Hindi ko talaga na-prepare. Sorry na.
Okay lang. It's okay. Kasi for those who are still watching, if you still want to participate, all you have to do is, if you remember, in the first part of the trailer of The Boy Foretold, he was being foretold, or there was a fortune-telling situation happening during there. And Iyamina, the fortune teller, or the character, mentioned 2 cards in the first clip. What were those 2 cards? And whoever answers it first on the lives will win a free pass.
Ayan, we'll give you time. Nakahanap ako ng ano. I don't know if this is a clip, but it's just a photo. Sige.
Yeah, it is a photo, diba?
Yeah, there's a photo.
Yung hula-hula
So wait,
lang ng mga
how will
tao,
they
diba? Yep.
respond? Will they do it in the chat?
Yes, please. If you can do it in the live chat, that'd be great. The first
So
answer we
those,
see correct. The first answers. It's a pair.
okay,
Dalawa yung cards eh.
There.
Actually, if you've been listening to the title or what we've been saying a while ago, the answer's already right in front of you.
Ooh.
Uy, pero alam mo, magaling to si Iya, no? Iya Mina.
Si Iyamina. Sa Mamu, yes.
Like, super galing talaga.
Is she related to Ara?
Yata, parang they play around with the
Seryoso
name
tanong yun.
para may recall. Ay, seryoso ba yun? I think,
Oh!
I don't think so, Mikey. Kasi sa comedy bar, parang they make use of some names para may recall, di ba, mga ganun.
Yeah, pwede. Baka one of her
I think so.
acts before had to do with Aramina, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Car? Is she related to Car?
Carmita. Nakakainis.
Kakainis.
Oy, nagdidelay yung topics na ako. Ano pa ba?
Oo nga, wala nag-chat eh.
Paano kaya pag...
nakikita yung question?
Ano ba yung question only?
Yeah, what were the two cards flashed?
Okay.
Uy, meron na! Someone won!
Yon! Yay! So,
Okay, Lian. Hi, Lian. Yay!
Yay! Congratulations!
Yeah, Lian, if you could send us a message on our Instagram or our Twitter, we'll send you the voucher.
Yes.
Yes! Hey, congratulations!
Congrats!
Congratulations!
So ano ulit yung question, Lance? Tapos para hindi makalimutan ng
Yeah, what were Kasi during the fortune telling scene in the first part of the trailer, there were two cards that were shown. What were the two cards shown by Iyamina? It was the king and the star, or ang hari at ang bituin.
That's nice. I mean, I don't even remember. So good job on that.
Yeah, thank you, Ma'am Yao, for that wonderful question.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Thank you, Ma'am Yao. Contribution. We love it.
Congrats, Lian! Yay! We have our second winner of the free pass. And we'll also give out another free ticket or free pass tomorrow. We can, because wala naman tayo live tomorrow, we can probably do another Instagram live. So for those of you watching here, dalawa sa amin will go live on Instagram tomorrow evening around 8 p.m. siguro thereabouts. And then we'll be giving out, we'll have another game siguro, and then we'll give out our third free pass for The Boy Foretold by the Stars. Right? Yon!
Yes! Congratulations!
Thanks, Lian.
The Boy Foretold by the Stars will, of course, be available for streaming on December 24th.
Yep.
So let's make sure for Kian and Adrian, and
of course,
love wins this Christmas. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and Leon, don't forget to DM us so we could know your Twitter handle, so we can send you the voucher for this.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, since may winner na tayo for that free pass for The Boy Foretold by the Stars, we will now promote naman natin, no? Para naman sa iba na gusto pang manalo ng vouchers, no? So I believe that we had this running since we had our session, yung BBS Looks Back, Gives Back, diba? So we will be sharing the link to a form where you will be inputting your answers or responses. Okay, so we have vouchers of food delivery vouchers. We have hotel discount vouchers and top-up vouchers that you may win if you answer some of the questions in this form. Yeah. So if you guys would like to participate, you can just click on the link. There are questions there. Napaka-easy lang ng questions talaga. You can just answer them if you've been tuning in with us, if you've been watching BBS since the time we started doing lives. And then we'll be drawing the answer, the winners from the responses, and then we'll be sending you DM siguro via Twitter because that's the easy way for us to communicate with you guys. So click on the link, answer the questions, and we will announce the winners by December 24. Tama ba? Yes.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Si Marcus, si Maki kasi merong may hawak ng form. So I don't know kung may nakasagot na dun eh. Yep. Yeah. So please join our BBS Looks Back Gives Back giveaway. Marami kayong makukuha dyan. May Grab food delivery vouchers kami. We also have hotel discounts, discount vouchers and top-up vouchers. Is it safe to say, or is it okay to say it's from Shopee? Okay lang. Nasabi ko
Shopee.
Shopee.
Yeah.
Shopee.
So it's a top-up voucher. Yes. So please join. Click on the link and then answer the questions. Okay. So yun lang.
Yes.
Ilang skill ko. Char.
Right. So also, we want you guys to continue supporting Blue, the micro series outside.
Okay.
So the second episode premiered earlier this evening. So that's gonna be daily, right? As far as I know, only the first 3 episodes is gonna be uploaded on YouTube. They will make an announcement regarding the next 3 episodes. We'll see. Hopefully, they still upload it to YouTube. So it premieres on the Blue app every midnight, and it premieres on YouTube at 8:45 p.m. So go ahead and support Genesis and Kaloy.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Oy, wait lang. Ano na lang? Yes, Mikey, go.
Go ahead.
Initial thoughts. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be that long. Parang first episode, after watching the first episode.
Kilig.
Kilig, yeah, same. Genuine kilig.
Same.
Okay.
I mean, Genesis.
Especially the end scene. Same.
Yes. And Kaloy did so well as well.
Oh, super.
Oh, yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Grabe.
I think they also really interact well. Chemistry is good between the two of them. So I'm really happy about this particular series. Hopefully they end up together. We don't know yet, but hopefully.
Ano naman, di ba?
Yan ako, Christmas naman guys, ibigay nyo na. Char.
Yes, kung pwede lang, no?
We'll see.
All right. So.
All right. Anything else?
I think I'm good.
Siguro one more thing. If you guys can also check out our social media. It's Christmas time, and let's not forget that there are still people who have been displaced by typhoons, Rolly and Ulysses. So in our social media and on Twitter, we have a link to this NGO that is doing Buy a Plant, Build a Home for the people of Virac in Catanduanes. If you can go ahead and check out their website, it's buyaplantbuildahome.org. Oh my God, I have to please go ahead and check our socials for that. Go ahead and help people rebuild their homes, especially since it's Christmas time. Hopefully, we'll be able to help people get back to their lives sooner rather than later. So go ahead and check it out. It's on our social media pages. That's it.
Right. Yes. So, Lance, go.
Yeah. So, thank you for watching and tuning in today. So, we had fun for episode 4 of Cheat the Series, and hope to see more of the suspense, drama, witchcraft thriller show. So, yeah, I hope you do follow us on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram social media accounts, and do check the squad's personal accounts. That's ang Gagayamon, Lance Lucas, Mar Victoria, Mia Jules, Mayet, OMG, it's Mikey, Nico Magsalin, and Patty. So, I am Lance, together with Nico and Mikey. So, thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Because we're out and proud. Have a magical day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Highlight CVR, kakainis.
See you.